Here now with more. House Minority Leader, hopes to be Speaker one day, Kevin McCarthy. Sir, how are you?
I'm good.
So I'm looking at the state of inflation, a 41-year high that was supposed to be transitory, record high gas prices. Now we've also depleted the strategic petroleum reserves. I'm looking at wide open borders, 4.5 million people entering this country illegally. The borders were secure under Donald Trump. I'm looking at no bail laws like we're talking about, defund the police like we're talking about. I'm looking at woke schools versus classical education. And I'm thinking this is the biggest choice election America's had, at least in my lifetime, that I can think of. The left has never been this radical. So why are some of these races as close as they are?
Well, you talked a little bit about the polls, but you also have to talk about what the president said tonight. He wasn't uniting us. The Democrats were dividing us as they moved forward. They just wanted to distract from the disasters they created. All those topics you brought up, I listened to the president's speech. I don't remember hearing anything about inflation, about gas, about border, about fentanyl, about crime, or not even the 98 individuals on the border who are on the terrorist watch list they have caught. What we're really finding in these next 6 days, this is a hinge election. This is defining election like a 1980 election. Which direction does America want to go? That's why we have the commitment to America. We literally spell out what we'll do. Make us energy independent. Give us an economy that's strong. Secure the border. Fund the police. Stop the prosecutors who are woke. Give you a parent's bill of rights. You know what else? Save and strengthen Medicare and Social Security, where the Democrats lie against. Have a government that is accountable. A future that's built on freedom. I think the entire nation should look at what the Democrats have done with one-party rule, look at what the commitment says, and make a decision. And I'm talking to all Americans, not just to Republicans, but independents, Democrats, Green Party. You know this nation can be better. You want to pick somebody who has a plan to turn this nation around, and that's exactly what we're doing.
Kevin, your commitments to America, I've read them. I agree with them. It basically is the America First, Make America Great Again agenda. In other words, returning to policies that were working 21 months ago. I love the fact that every congressman has signed on to it. Now the question is, will you follow through on it? And not only follow through when Joe Biden's president, but follow through when hopefully a Republican is elected, and then it can be enacted into law. Because there was symbolic votes on repealing and replacing Obamacare, and that never became a reality when it mattered in 2017, did it?
No, we got it through the House, but unfortunately in the Senate, it was stopped. Now, our commitment to America promises what we'll do to get out of the House. On our very first day on January 3rd, we're going to vote on a bill. We're going to vote to repeal the 87,000 new IRS agents, because I believe government should be here to help you, not go after you. Hold our feet to the fire. Remember, after the '94 revolution, it took 3 times putting on the president's desk before they got welfare reform. We're going to continue to fight, move this forward. We need you not just to join with us, but stay with us as we move it through the House, to the Senate, and the president's desk. But Sean, you're right. I've been watching your show quite some time. Your town halls on these Senate candidates have been tremendous, talking about solutions. It is so important to have the House and the Senate, because it gives us an ability to repeal these regulations with the Congressional Review Act with just 51 votes in the Senate. We can do reconciliation with 51 votes in the Senate and put a bill on the president's desk. We have the appropriation process. So there are a number of ways that we can achieve what we talk about in the commitment, even though the president is sitting in office right now.
Let me ask you this then, because the one big power that Congress will have, if you have the House and the Senate especially, is the power of the purse. You have the ability to fund government or not fund government. Now, I would bet pretty much everything I had there's going to come a point where Democrats are going to say Republicans are going to shut down the government and they're going to take away your Social Security. Will Republicans, by the way, Social Security will be funded, our military will be funded. When they shut down Congress, by the way, it's a free vacation usually in the end for people. But my question is, will you use that power? Will Republicans stand strong when it comes to the moments to stand up and using the power that you do have?
Look, we're going to use the power, but I want to be very clear. We will always save and strengthen Social Security and Medicare. That does not change in the outcome. But you should have a debate about how we spend government money. There shouldn't be a blank check for anything. It is the taxpayers' hard-earned money being spent. We should eliminate this wasteful Washington spending. And we can do that. So this is the part that we need with people. And on that very first day, we have already sent the preservation letters. We're going to hold this government accountable, something that hasn't been done. You should know where COVID originated from. We should know why the DOJ went after parents for going to school board meetings. We should know what happened in those last 60 days of Afghanistan so that never happens again, so we don't have 13 new Gold Star families again. These are just a few of the items that we'll be looking at, but what we'll be doing is moving policy that makes us energy independent, not just in America, but we should make the rest of the world dependent on us. It makes the world more secure and America stronger. We should
and that would make
secure our
America
border.
rich, and it would be good
Yes.
for national security, and it would create a lot of high-paying career jobs in the energy sector. Congressman, thank you for being with us. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.